guys, this is Red Silvers, and welcome back to Let's Play Mega Man 3 Talking Time. Today we had a tie between Snake Man and Shadow Man, with the final Snake Man vote coming in right before I started recording. So it was time to use the good old random number generator, and our winner was Snake Man. Fortunately, as the comments have said, Snake Man's music is pretty cool. Of course, Snake Man's stage does bring it the question, just where is this taking place at? What is this giant building filled with snakes, and what purpose did it have before Snake Man chose it as his lair? Did Dr. Wily really build this entire area just like this? Or was it something else? Now, these snakes, if you notice, will actually blink right before they're ready to fire. And that's kind of your clue that, hey, maybe you need to dodge now. Of course, dodging is not always the easiest thing to do. And if you didn't have enough snakes yet, you're about to, because here's the giant snake. It's the mini-boss of this stage, and there's two of them that will fight through the course of the level. And yes, the upside-down snakes work much the same as the regular. They blink when they're ready to fire. And maybe they knew that it was going to be hard for you to dodge those snakes, because that is a lot of health for them to give. So my theory is that this place is actually some sort of a factory. Smooth. Before the snakes come in, and I'll show you why at the proper time. Laddering is difficult, apparently. And hey, let's throw in Hammer Joe's, because why not? And let's jump into them, because why not also, right? And if you haven't had enough Hammer Joe yet, then you're going to, because I'm going to do something a little uncouth and come up here. And holy crap, I got an energy tank. Usually those platforms will sit there and troll, those item boxes will troll you. But I took a gamble, and it actually paid off. So for those keeping track, we're back to 9 E-tanks. And this was, of course, our why don't you use up all your E-tanks moment. And I think that's what people were expecting to happen with Shadow Man. But time will tell. This jump, I am not sure if it's even possible without the rush coil. I'm sure somebody will come in and tell me that it's something like a pixel-perfect jump can make it. But you've got to be right on the money. And maybe, but I figured why take chances. And this is why I figure this is some kind of a factory that's just been overrun with robot snakes, because now we're coming up to the giant smokestacks in the outdoor sky area. And the smokestacks actually send out platforms, but you've got to jump, because the platforms will knock you off if you're not positioned just right. And this is where the difficult platforming comes in. And it's complicated by the Mega Man bullet bills. And I've actually been getting lucky with these platforms, because I haven't even been taking my own advice here. And that was sad. And guess what? That was also our last life. But that's okay, because that just means you guys get to listen to more of the Snake Man music, because that's how it's going to work out when I edit this, as well as I get to listen to more of it. Of course, it does mean that how much more is there that I can talk about this level. Also, this run is not going too well. And these weird jumping robots, we won't be seeing very much of. Their jumping AI is kind of unique, though. And hey, more giant snakes, because that's what you people came here for. Giant snakes and awesome music. So, I have a confession to make that's actually relevant to Snake Man's stage. For the longest time, I thought that his weakness was the Spark Shot. And I believe that that's Nintendo Power's fault for suggesting that order, which was the same where I said where they suggested Magnet Man as the first and Needle Man as the last, and is therefore generally a really bad order to follow, because Needle Man last is just terrible. And it actually turns out that not only is the Spark Shot not one of Snake Man's weaknesses, he does less damage from it than he does from most other weapons. So not only is it his weakness, it's practically his resistance. So for many years I fought Snake Man thinking I was using the best weapon for him, when actually it was the worst. And what the hey, these worked out so well for us last time. Just some energy that we don't need. Oh well, they can't all be winners, right guys? In fact, here's something that I can say. Talking time relevant for you. They are looking at changing some of the rules for how Let's Plays work. And that would affect how my future Let's Plays proceed from here. So, if you have a moment, check out the thread and give False Logic your feedback, because I'm sure that he wants to make it the most hassle-free that he can for everybody. And your feedback, my feedback, everybody's feedback is what's going to make that. And even if I don't agree with your feedback, it still should be thrown out there. So, if you have any opinion on that, please speak up, so that we can make the Let's Play forum the best that it can be. And if you're somebody that's not from Talking Time watching this, then sorry to throw out that random drama at you. And for my friends from other forums, you know who you are. Same deal. Sorry for infuriating you with this thought of hearing me talk about another forum. I'll have to make it up to you sometime by talking about the Pokemon RP again. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna pull out my Get Out of Platforming free card. Not like that, though. I cannot believe that that just happened. And Snake Man is gracious enough to have us under fire the moment we respawn. Why not? Every day I'm rush coiling. I did not even look up to see if the top spin could be used to great effect in this stage. So for all I know, I could have been jumping around, dancing and singing happily this whole time instead of failing at platforming. But that's okay, because we're going to dig out the Rush Jet now. Now, if this was Mega Man 4, and I was using the Rush Jet, it would have gotten away from me by this point. Because the Rush Jet just moves forward automatically. You don't get to power it yourself. And that's just sad. I wish they hadn't neutered it, because Mega Man 4 is otherwise a pretty good game, but there's just little differences that do throw you off. And just 1 second here. Sorry. You'll see why I'm doing that in just a moment. Snake Man's weakness, for some reason, is the needle cannon. So we're gonna just go full out with that. And that's what happens when you use the needle cannon on him. Now, what's this? I'm gonna reload? You bet I am, because why not? I mentioned that the Snake Man level can be a good one to start with. And we're gonna see just how hard it is to Buster only Snake Man. Apparently, at least that hard. So am I going to pay for my hubris here? Possibly. And good old NES slowdown is certainly not going to help. Alrighty. Let's get a rhythm going. Maybe that wasn't the best option. Let's try that again though, shall we? Because I'm going to pull this off. One way or another. Okay. If I can just figure out the timing pattern here. Or I can use a bunch of E-tanks, but I'd really rather not. And if you're a purist and you're offended by my use of the save state right now, keep in mind that I'm using it to make things harder for myself more than anything. Because I did have him down with the needles before. Alright, I didn't want to do it. But I better. Oh boy. And I believe that he only keeps 2 snakes on the screen at a time. I could be wrong about that. But there we go. I figured everybody else has been Buster only, why not Snake Man also? For Snake Man, we get his search snakes, which work just like the ones that he was firing. They follow along the ground. And that can be useful for some enemies that go underneath your attack pattern. As you can see, we've gotten another blue dot on our password screen now. And we're running out of options, because there are only 2 Robot Masters left. Magnet Man and Shadow Man. So, which one will we fight next? Who am I kidding? It's probably going to be Shadow Man, just because of how many other votes that he's gotten so far. But maybe I'll be surprised. So, until then, this is Red Silvers, and you have yourself a good night.